lot of artists have sort of models that they follow and that they look towards either for an inspiration or whether it be something to actually emulate in a certain way. Though a lot of the artwork I make may be about these natural environments and our relationships to them, I actually like being out in the field. For me, it's still this tactile, very physical, palpable relationship with living things. So a lot of the projects sometimes are just excuses to find ways to either get to South America or South Florida on a regular basis. My official role, what gets put on paper, and then what I get credit for when they actually describe new species in peer-reviewed journals, is field work. I am one of the field team members, which really means you're out in the water collecting fish, gutting them, tagging them, counting them, putting them in formalin, and then later on rinsing them off.
The ones we just processed.
Catfish, they're dramatic. They're almost like caricatures of exoticism. They don't really look like a catfish. They look almost like a bird of paradise or an orchid of some sort. And they're quite elaborate and very beautiful. Conservation biologists, I kind of make the claim that they're sort of today's 21st century avant-garde thinkers. Really are truly interdisciplinary. They put together a multitude of worlds. The biologist that I work with a lot in the Amazon, Nathan Lujan, for him to really study these armored catfish, he looks into the geology of the area, over 12 to 100 million years, how these fish have moved through the Amazon and why. He's really studying the nutrients within the water and the water qualities. But he's also then has to look at the local cultures, the indigenous peoples, and how they use them. And in the end, what he's really trying to piece out of all of this is how, through the shape of these fish's teeth, how they've evolved over time, to notice this difference of a morphological change between one tooth and one fish and another one. Between that jump in that little space in between is like almost like witnessing evolution itself. I think the tools that science can give us can help bring us closer to the things that I personally am interested in. To look at things that exist in sort of biological spheres through deep time scenarios. It's actually quite a really fantastical, kind of wondrous experience. Often, biologists will have a particular perspective, and it's certainly going to be different than a slightly more artistically minded person. They definitely think I'm like the weirdo. They have all these associations of like bad art, like lots of cello playing and naked women or something, like performance art. Even though artists often think the scientists are, you know, the real stereotypical like geeks. Socially awkward, obsessive about these technological or mechanical details and statistics. So all of those are actually, I can tell you, are all actually true. That's just one way for them to engage the world around them.
Was professionalized science ever something you seriously considered?
No, not at all. Doing field work with conservation biologists, you see these things, these beings, these living beings, like fish or birds, before they're filtered through, you know, the scientific process and they become information, data, and eventually knowledge. It resonates in a particular way, but I'm interested in how these things can maybe resonate back again into a more visceral portrait. artists, we can use things like theatrics, drama, illusion, and effects that scientists don't get to use. I'm not interested in debunking the scientific method at all. I'm interested in showing that it's human. There's a point at which the rationality of science can begin to break down into something else. I don't exactly know what that is. That's where art can begin to entertain these other possibilities, other ways of articulating the world.